Before a crowd of spectators in the Gus George Law Enforcement Academy, Fort Bend County Sheriff Troy Nels asked some interesting questions.
There has to be people in this room that really, when you see someone walking down the neighborhood sidewalk or wherever you are in Fort Bend County and you see this beautiful turban, what does that turban represent? What does that, I see people on certain times and they have this red dot here. What does that represent? Sometimes I'll get a call for service and all the shoes are at the front steps. Do I walk into that house or do I ask? So today we're going to get truly a better understanding of how that works.
This was the kickoff of a diversity conference hosted by the Sheriff's Department to help his staff and the public get answers to questions they had about three communities in Fort Bend: Sikhs, Hindus, and Muslims. Representatives from each community explained some of the tenets and customs of their faiths, along with tips for law enforcement officers about what they might encounter.
So many Asian and Muslim women and men might look at authority, might not look at authority in the eye, and that is because they might be scared, and when somebody's scared, traditionally people don't look at you in the eye when you're an immigrant or from other cultures because they find it as a sign of disrespect. And if they don't look at you in the eye, you should think of it as they're trying to give you respect.
There were explanations of some of the things people were curious about, like why do Hindus sometimes have red spots on their foreheads?
It's something that's applied every day during your meditation. So it's in the morning, and it's a lifelong thing. It's part of your meditation and prayers in the morning.
Why do Muslim women cover themselves?
Since the Quran also teaches that there is no compulsion in religion, no one can be forced into something that they do not wish to do. So the stereotype that Muslim women are forced into covering completely contradicts the teachings of Islam. And everyone has their own relationship with their Lord. With that being said, Muslim American women who do choose to cover, like myself, are trying to follow in the footsteps of some of the most influential and important women in history, such as Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Asiya, the mother of Moses. They were always covered modestly with the hijab or the head covering and are the most respected women of all time.
Also, what's the deal with that small dagger carried by Sikhs?
And it is a blade that is in the shape of a knife, but it's like more decorative or whatever, the way that they have them now made. And it's also a part of our uniform. So it's one of the things that we wear, right? We don't cut our hair, we have a bracelet, and then you have a kirpan. And that also has its ability to remind you in your connection to God and things like that too. So never, ever, ever are they supposed to be used to, fight against you. So it's not supposed to be a threat in that manner for you. So when you do pull over somebody, or you do have a Sikh coming through the metal detectors, it's an article of faith, 100% an article of faith. It's not meant to be used in any other way other than that.
Dr. Zara Jamal explained how Muslims can easily respect the institutions of law in the U.S.
Number one, religious freedom, and number two, equality of humankind. These are two key principles in the Quran revealed in the 7th century, and more than 1,000 years later you see them in the Declaration of Independence and also in the U.S. Constitution and Bill of Rights. So absolutely the two are compatible and simpatico in their values, and it is absolutely a no-brainer to have the two be sort of loved and lauded by an American Muslim.
Amina Hishak grew up in Florida. She related an incident when someone told her the San Bernardino killers were her people.
And at that time, I just said, I gave her a quick response and I said to her, those weren't my people. And I left it at that. When I went home, I was really upset. And I wish I had said that the people that died on that day, those innocent lives that were lost, were my people. That the law enforcement officers that were there in the line of fire were my people. That American military men and women that give their lives every day are my people. And that the Muslims overseas that have their boots on the ground fighting against these horrible groups are my people. And that the non-Muslims and Muslims that are dying every day are my people. And that all of humanity is my people. And as one British Muslim poet recently said, if you need me to prove my humanity, then I am not the one who's not human. Thank you so much.
For Stafford Weekly News, I'm John Woods.